Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Don't go away. This very special celebration program about our fundraiser with Rachel Hubbard. It's going to be awesome, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show, our Daily Operations Director from Second Chance Youth Ranch, Rachel Hubbard, is here.
Hi.
I think, Rachel, by now, everybody should know who you are.
Maybe.
But this show, right here at the latter months of 2021, we just came out of a phenomenal banquet, a fundraiser at the Benton Convention Center.
It was so sweet.
Give us some details. How many people did we have this year?
So we had about 460 people there.
During COVID?
I know.
But I guess if they can have 100,000 in the stands watching football or the World Series,
yeah,
we can have 465 people at the Benton Convention Center. Mm-hmm. I would like to interrupt you and just tell you what a phenomenal meal that was.
Vibrant Occasions in Benton did a great job. They are so talented. Ever. Yes, absolutely. It was good.
It was good. Now, on every table, we have table sponsors. We might talk more about that. But on every table, we gave out to everyone who came. What did they get this year?
So they got these little cactuses,
yes,
just like a little plant. I know.
I got it. I've carried that little cactus in my finger for about 3 days. I picked one up to give to someone, and I went, oh my gosh.
Billy was so worried. He's like, should we have a basket of Band-Aids at the back? And I was like, cactuses are in. It'll be fine. Yeah. But the important thing about them is that they each had a little sign that had the name of a specific child that lives with us.
Yeah.
So that whoever took the plant home could pray for that child. And I've already had so many people come to me and say, well, I got so-and-so, or how's so-and-so doing? And they're praying specifically for these kids by name, and there's some power in that. It's been really cool to see that happen. And
one of the highlights was we had one of our young men, Keon, came and shared his story of living with us and becoming a part of our family. Maybe we have a little picture or B-roll of him on the set here. But what a real moving story that was.
You know, I think my favorite part of Keon's story is the time he had with us was special while he lived with us. But what is so cool is that he left as an adult. He went back to his family, but when things got really hard and he was kind of at a low point, he was struggling, we were the people that he came back to.
Yeah.
Like kind of that safe spot he could come home to.
And his foster parents are?
Lauren and Tony Furman. Tony's a state representative here in Arkansas, and Lauren is a former teacher, stay-at-home mom, and they love Keon he's their son, you know.
Didn't they take him to work while he was trying to save his money and get his car once he kind of came back to us?
Yes, so they would pick him up and drive him to and from work. They co-signed on an apartment for him. Really just did everything that parents would normally do to swoop in and kind of give their kid a fresh start when they needed it.
Yeah, we talk about foster care, but to us, we don't really like to use the term our foster children.
No.
Because they're really not, well, they really are legally our foster children, but to us, they're just our kids.
Yeah, and I always say, you know, whatever they need us to be, we will be that. Some of our kids just need us for a little while, and then they go back home to their own family, and that's wonderful. But you can never have too many people that love you, and we're always here for whatever it is that they need.
We took our college group, it's called Next, for Next Level, out for our little retreat. We had about 20 of us out there. And I asked one of the young men on campus, one of the boys, I said, are you guys brothers? And they said, do you mean, I said, are y'all foster brothers? I think's what I said. And he said, well, what do you mean foster brothers? We're just brothers. And I thought that was pretty cool that they, even though they're not blood brothers, that they consider themselves brothers, and they didn't appear that they even wanted to use the terminology foster. We're just family.
Yeah, I remember Bronley, our little boy, was in the first grade, and they were talking about family at school, and they were supposed to draw a picture of their family and their brothers and sisters and all that, and he raised his hand, and he was like, what if you have over 100 brothers and sisters? I don't know if I'll be able to draw all of them, because to him, that's his family, you know?
Yeah, so let's clarify that. You and Billy got married. Y'all were married a few months.
Right.
Came to the ranch as foster parents.
Right.
Now, I knew you from the time you were a little skinny, 11 or 12-year-old?
Yeah, I started going to family church around 12 years old.
And then you and Billy got married and came on staff as foster parents. Back in that day, we called them house parents. And then sometime later, about 3 years later, y'all became parents.
Right, right.
How long had y'all been foster parents when you became?
Maybe like 3 years or so.
Yeah, about 3
before
years
we had
in,
a baby.
then Bronley was born. And then Bronley has a little sister.
Right.
How?
She's 6 now, Brooklyn.
And so when he said, I have 100 brothers and sisters, that's the only place your children have ever lived.
That's all they know.
Yeah.
And they love it. I mean, there would be a riot in our house if at some point we said, well, I think we're not going to live at the ranch now or something. I mean, this is where everybody that they love lives. This is where they call home, you know. Well,
I'm just going to prophesy right here on TV. It's not only the place they've called home, this is their future. I just really believe that because this is their life. They don't know anything else.
Right.
That as I rapture out of here, well, I guess we all go at that point.
Don't leave us in the rapture. We want to go too.
This is their future. This is. It's what I told a friend the other day when we were taking someone on a tour, and I said, this is not what the Hubbards do. This is their heart. This is your life. I don't even know how to tell people how this vision gets in you. You know, I'm the founder, so obviously the vision's in me. But what's made all this work is I can't impart vision to you. That's got to be in your heart, and that is in you and Billy and Bronley and Brooklyn.
Right, yeah.
And so I don't expect them to ever grow up and leave the ranch.
Right.
I expect them to grow up and expand the ranch. And the ranch is expanding. We don't. Not only do we have our 300-acre campus out in the forest of Perrin, technically Benton, I think, out near Perrin, but our campus homes here in town, and we want to talk about that here in just a moment after we come back from this break. If you're watching this show is all about the monies that we raised and that we raised throughout the year, and some of the things that we'll be doing to change the lives of young men and young women in care. When I say young men and young women, I'm talking about children as young as what right now?
1.
1. So we got little bitty ones. We're bringing in sibling groups by the groups.
Right.
Sibling groups of 3, sibling groups of 4, sibling groups of 7. And you need to be a part of what God is doing. And we're going to give you a great big celebration report when we come back with Rachel Hubbard right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch TV.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and as you know, this is Rachel Hubbard. Her and her husband, Billy, been with us for 13 years?
15.
15, that was close. I probably only paid you 13 years of it. And they are daily operations director, and that means every day they are on site supporting our campus foster families, of which, as we are literally taping this show, we have a new foster family opening up one of our homes on the ranch campus, and they have 3 of their own children. and they'll be receiving somewhere between 3 and 5 foster children probably by the time this show goes on the air.
Probably so.
November of 2021. And that is pretty exciting. That means we still have one opening
right.
for another foster family, which has a good compensation package. And that's in case somebody's watching and God just had them just tune in, they get a van, they get a home, fully furnished, food, all utilities, home insurance, all that's paid, and a compensation package by joining our team. And we even give you the foster children.
Free kids.
Yeah. But the thing that we do, Rachel, is we give a support that you don't get the same kind of support in a typical organization.
Sure.
We have clinical staff. We have you guys living on campus. So there's intervention. Our clinical staff with our, I think, up to 3 therapists. We've got 4 or 5 at least case managers that help the foster families. But what about if someone says, well, I really can't live on campus, but I would like to have the opportunity to get involved in foster care.
Right.
I was watching Hallmark TV.
I love it.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it on purpose. It's my wife. But what caught me while I'm doing my thing is they were talking about fostering. And I went, hey, all right, I'm going to pay attention to this show. So what if someone has a home in Central Arkansas, they have a job, they have children, but they really would like to foster? What can we do to help them?
So if they're interested in fostering teenagers, a small sibling group, or a child with therapeutic needs, they would definitely want to foster through Second Chance Youth Ranch. And they just need to reach out to us, and we will start the process with them. They have to complete paperwork, training, and some interviews, background checks.
And what kind of support would we give them if they take a child in? Is there some sort of financial assistance that's available to help provide for the needs of the child and the needs within the home?
There is, yes. Depending on how many kids they take and what type of child they take, there's financial assistance that's actually a lot more than if they went directly through the state.
What kind of support do we as a staff give them?
So we are available for emergency interventions whenever they need that. We provide therapy services. We work on treatment goals with the kiddos, and it just depends on what they need.
Do we sometimes just call them and say, hey, we're thinking about you, praying for you today, anything we can do to help?
Absolutely, yes. And it may mean, meeting with foster mama and having coffee and just listening and offering her some advice. It may mean, picking a kid up and taking them clothing shopping so that mom and dad can have a break for a few hours, whatever, kind of outside the box. We just meet our families where they are.
So we have 3 campus homes here in Saline County on the church campus.
In Bryant.
And then we have 4 foster homes on the ranch campus out, I don't know what part of Benton and Saline that is, out near Perrin. How many homes do we have that are owned by the homeowner and they're also in our network of foster families? Are there 8 or 9 of those now?
There are 5 right now. We have 2 more that are about to open, and then 2 more that are open that don't have a placement right now. So all in all, we're right almost to 10, yeah.
So there's someone watching right now. Matter of fact, there's several people watching right now, and they're in a local church.
Right.
And they said, boy, we'd love to have y'all come talk to us as a church or to our small group or our business. We want to be involved in some way, and we want to know more. Is there someone that would go do that?
Yeah, usually me. I'm who gets sent for that. And
Billy go with you, though.
He does. He'll work the table. I'll speak at the front because, he's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that is one of the best things that people can do for us because you never know what connection can come from that. And so those opportunities are just golden, and we appreciate every single one of them. So that's a great way for people to help.
A lot of churches allow you 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
Or 10 minutes to kind of make an announcement and kind of share the little bit of the vision, and then y'all have a table and stuff set up where they can come directly to you.
Right, and we're pretty flexible. We could just send a video. If somebody just wanted to share a video, we can come and speak for a few minutes. Sometimes churches will have us speak for the whole service. You know, we'll take whatever works for them.
Yeah. So in October of 2021, just not too long ago, we raised a little over $300,000, which goes a long way to help us improve what we do for our kids.
Right.
No money that we raise goes to pay salaries. We did buy a couple of vans recently. If you've been out and about, vans are very expensive. Yeah. What are some of the goals? And that was from a previous fundraiser. And in the previous fundraiser from 2020, we built a new foster home.
Right.
So what are you thinking as we've been talking? What are some of the things we're discussing about using this money that we just raised for? We got a minute.
Well, some of our buildings that were originally built are 15 to 20 years old, and so they need revamped a little bit. They need spruced up. We just want to make sure that everything's the best that it can be for our kids, and we want to take care of what's been given to us.
Yeah.
So that's our first priority, is to do that. And we're also looking at maybe expanding one or two of those homes so that larger sibling groups could fit there, and we could have brothers and sisters in the same house with their separate bathrooms and bedrooms, that sort of thing.
Because when we originally built, and I designed most of the buildings, we were doing boys in a house and girls in a house.
Right. That's what everybody was doing then.
Yeah. And now with sibling groups, we had brothers and sisters, and sometimes two sibling groups in the house. So we have to have more bedrooms to separate boys from girls and so forth. And so we're going to take a little break here and come back and talk a little bit more about how folks can get involved. And I know that the reason the Holy Spirit has you tuning in is because He needs you to get involved. We'll be right back.
I pray for my mom to come back, and we go back home with our dad and our mom. I'm 11 years old, and I've been at the ranch for 3 years. I'm looking for a family who loves me and wants to be with my sisters and cares about us.
Every anxious thought that steals my breath, it's a heavy weight.
Whenever I first got put into foster care, we hopped from foster home to foster home, and me and my oldest younger little sibling were in a shelter together away from my two youngest little siblings, and it was really hard. And whenever we came to the ranch, we all got put together. It's pretty awesome to be able to go through this together, because being alone is definitely not the answer to anything.
Not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord.
I love everything about my foster parents. Miss Liz and Mr. Russo are like the best thing that ever really happened to me. Out at home, I wasn't as happy. Like, I was always mad and upset. And it's just like, when I came to Second Chance Youth Ranch, everything changed. Now at Second Chance Youth Ranch, it's like I feel whole again.
Courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough.
My foster parents are really nice and do a lot of stuff for us. It's taught me about God, and God has changed my life. Family means everybody loves each other.
Family to me means everyone together, everyone smiling, everyone having fun, everyone enjoying themselves.
A healthy family is really relationships between people and communication and family time spent together.
When I grow up, I'm not gonna hit my kids. I'm just gonna say, I forgive you.
Darkness can overwhelm me.
adopted, please just pray for God to give you a family.
God wanted us to be here. God put you in that situation because you had some things you need to work on, or your parents need to work on things, and whether you don't see it or not, you are doing this for the better.
I will fear no more.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. On this show, we always want to include fostering, mentoring, and adopting. I mean, that's why this show is on the air, and we're so grateful to Victory Television Network, Pastor Caldwell, Sister Jeannie, and Jim Grant, and that whole staff for allowing us to be on the air every week to remind people in Arkansas that the foster care need and the adoptive forever family need in Arkansas can be resolved if we will quit looking at the problem and become a part of the solution.
Yes.
Have you ever said, why doesn't somebody do something about this? You're somebody.
Yep, that's right.
And we've stepped up and said, hey, we're willing to do whatever God asks us to do. But we're only able to do that because we have friends and partners, and we have people praying for us. Those little cactuses that people took home, they've been praying for those now for several weeks. Last year, one year we took home wood blocks with a student's name on it. Every year there's something that people can take home from the banquet to remind them to pray.
Right.
Because it's not just about raising money, it's about raising champions for Jesus Christ. So tell me again, let's kind of go back. What are some of the other things that we would like to do this year, 2022, with the funds we raised in October of 2021?
So we want to renovate our older homes, get them ready and looking a little
Framers are
bit better.
supposed to be out there today, and Billy said they're not there. Y'all do know it's deer season.
Right.
And so it's a little harder to get guys to show up during deer season till they get their limit. So we're doing some renovation. They're doing some carpentry work on some areas that are really too difficult for some of us rookies to do. Yeah. And then we'll do the painting and do the fix-up. We did a remodel. We did a room addition just very recently. We're going to be doing some television shooting out there next week, doing our Christmas programs. But I also have plans already drawn for 2 projects. One's fairly modest. One is for a new home in Benton. We are inundated, are we not, with calls, emergency calls. We have a sibling group and we have no place for them.
All the time. Absolutely.
So we're going to build another house in Benton over near one of the elementary schools right off of Alcoa Road in the city.
Yeah.
And that's coming in 2022 in Jesus' name. But then I have a really big project that I'm believing God for, and that is a retreat center where businesses and churches and small groups can come out to our ranch campus, be introduced to our campus, and they can have their own retreat right there in the Old West. Now that's a rather sizable project, and I've tried to just say, oh, I don't want to do that, we don't really need that. But that project, that retreat center would provide us a service to our community.
Right.
As well as expose people to the ranch, and they'd come out and meet some of our staff and some of our kids and use our facility and have a great time in the Lord. And just to be honest, it'd produce income.
Right, yeah.
And that income allows us to create a greater outcome for our kids.
Absolutely.
So a retreat center, don't know if we'll do that in 2022. Got to get lumber prices down. A new foster home to be built in Benton, renovating our buildings inside and out.
Right.
Ranch has been open December of 2021. We will have children how long? 16 years?
16.
Took our first kids in December 5th of 2005, somewhere, December 7th.
Right.
Something like that. And but we started construction, bought the land in 2000, started construction in 2000. Finished, well, we'd never finished construction out there. We're still going. So there's so much to do.
Yeah, we're not going to be bored.
Just over 400 kids in waiting for adoptive parents.
I think it's around 350.
So you're in a local church. What if you met with the leadership of your church and met with one family in your church and said, why don't we as a church adopt this adoptive family, and this adoptive family adopt a child?
Absolutely.
In a matter of a year or less, there would be no children waiting to be adopted in the state of Arkansas.
That's exactly right. Children should not be waiting on a family.
God.
Families should wait on children, not children waiting on families.
So working together, we can do that.
Absolutely.
And you say, well, I'm not really called to adopt. Everybody's not called to adopt.
Right.
But what if you fostered?
Right.
And fostering can be something where, and even in our case, we might get a child for a few months, and sometimes we get them for several years.
Yeah. But it's not a permanent commitment.
Yeah.
It's just somebody stepping in the gap while that child needs them. So if you're not able to adopt, fostering is a good option because it's not that forever commitment.
So we could raise $1 million, but if we don't have people raising up new champions for Christ, and if we don't have people stepping up, what good is the money?
That's exactly
We
right.
can build buildings till Jesus comes, but we're not about building buildings. We're about changing lives and sealing their destiny. And every child that comes into our care, within a matter of 1 or 2 church services, without exception, they all come to know Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior.
These kids are hungry for hope.
Oh, yes. And Jesus, He is the reason for the season. Well, here we are right here around Christmas. Is there something, we only got a minute, is there something people can do right here around Christmas? Do we have any Christmas projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to our website and make a donation if you'd like to help with Christmas. You just select, we call it the Angel Tree Fund, and that is money that we gather at Christmas time and use to bless the kids now, but also any extra we use throughout the whole year to, buy an instrument for them for band or pay for cheerleading uniform, things like that. So this is the time that people want to get involved, and so we need you. We need help at this time of year.
Yeah, we definitely do, and it's another way that we can tangibly express that there's people all over the state of Arkansas who love you and want to see you grow and mature in the things of the Lord. So we've had businesses bring out gifts, so they can contact us right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch TV or 2CYR.org or 501-594-5200. Talk to Rachel or Amanda and Billy, and they would love to tell you how you or your small group can get involved, your church, your civic group, or your business. Together, we can make a difference for an eternity in the life of a child. See you next time right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Bye-bye.